This podcast is sponsored by Affinity Recruiting and Consulting. 94% of small businesses and nonprofits disappear before their 10th birthday. The top 6% survive and thrive for two reasons: talent and strategy. Affinity's team of experts provides talent acquisition, outsourced HR, strategic planning, and fundraising support. Long story short, they fix the problems that cause small businesses and nonprofits to fail. If you could use help with recruiting, consulting, or HR, email their founder, Rob Murphy, to start a conversation today. You can also visit them online at affinitytoday.com, and both of those links are in the episode notes. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Rockets. In this episode, I sit down and talk with the owner and operator of Honest Coffee, a local coffee shop located on Clinton Avenue in downtown Huntsville since 2017. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. As I mentioned at the start, you're the owner and operator of Honest Coffee here in Huntsville and soon to be Madison. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your day-to-day looks like owning and operating a coffee shop?
Yes, it's Christy Wimberly, and it looks a lot different right now than it normally did. Before we got the second location started, my day-to-day would be in the shop, coaching my team. I knew we had some growth going on, so I've been working with my shop manager, Caleb, over the last year, trying to make sure that he knew the ins and outs of the business as well as I did. Knew that I was going to be probably more in Madison when we first got started. Marissa Gossage is my manager there. But I just want to make sure that we're bringing a lot of the culture and the community that we have downtown to the Madison shop. So I'll be there primarily full-time assisting her. So right now it's odd. Opening another spot, it's a lot of paperwork, and I go out to the spot a lot, work with the contractors. It's a lot more out of the shop now than I ever have been in the past.
Yeah, and I guess it was kind of similar to probably what it was 5 years ago when you were getting ready to open up the Huntsville location where you were doing all that paperwork. Is the paperwork easier now that you've done it before? Is there still a lot of unfamiliar things you're having to deal with?
Well, we'll get into that, I think, when you hear the backstory. I was a small partner when we first opened in 2017, and so the people that put the project together did a lot of that for me. So at the beginning, I was immersed in learning the coffee industry.
Gotcha.
I love small business and have a passion for that, but came to it without any background in coffee.
Gotcha.
So when we were getting ready to open the shop here, we were doing the little pop-up shop at UG White.
Okay.
So we got our initial first 5 employees trained there and kind of learned coffee together.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I read that you're originally actually from the Nashville area, but you've called Huntsville home since 1999. What drew you to Huntsville initially? Was it for work, or did you have family here already?
So I grew up in Nashville, lived in Nashville all my life, and I was previously married, and a job relocation brought us here. Okay. And it was funny, when I first moved to Huntsville, I felt like after moving from Nashville, it was a really small town. And, in 99, it was very limited on local concepts and just food and beverage in general. Yeah. And it hadn't started the regeneration like it has now.
For sure. And because I bet even at the time of starting the coffee shop in 2017, there was a lot more, obviously, from 1999 to 2017, but there was the amount that we've had from 2017 to now is just a whole different kind of beast within itself.
It's been incredible to be a part of, to watch, which is one of the favorite things I get to do in small business. I make a lot of contacts with other small businesses. And so we get together and we talk strategy and what's working and some of the challenges in our market. And that's been one of the neatest things about small business, is getting to know other small business owners. Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit of it a second ago, but your background, like you said, the coffee is something that you've been having. You basically were learning as you were opening. But is the business background kind of what your background was in prior to Honest, or what were you doing prior to Honest?
So I started in the restaurant business when I was in college. I went to college in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I worked at a golf course in Franklin, Tennessee. So I worked there for about 6 years, and we had a full-service restaurant there. And so I learned the restaurant industry. You and I talked a little before we started about working in cubicles and office spaces, and I was never designed for that. So when I moved here, I started working at Outback Steakhouse because they were open at night, and I played golf, so I could play golf during the day. And so until I had my kids, that's what I did. I worked in the restaurant industry. I loved the energy of it. I loved the schedule, the flexibility. I liked that you could wear whatever you wanted, basically. Yeah. I just liked the non-structured aspect of the restaurant industry. So prior to opening the shop, I stayed at home with the girls. And then when they were in preschool, elementary age, I went back and taught preschool so I could still be home when they were home. And then in 2014, I got a phone call from Nashville. A friend of mine wanted to know if I was interested in opening a juice bar.
Okay.
And so I said, no, not at all. But I went up to Brentwood, and there was a husband and wife that had opened a juice bar in Brentwood that was absolutely killing it. And they were bringing healthy juices and healthy foods to their community, and it was this lively, fun environment, and I was all in.
Yeah.
So I got my first taste of small business in 2014. I opened the juice bar, again, as a very small partner, but with a lot of freedom to kind of run it as I wanted to.
Okay.
And so I did that in 2014 for about 3 years, had the juice bar over on Whitesburg.
Okay.
And my boss from the golf course years later called, and they actually were the owners of Honest Coffee, our roaster in Franklin.
Okay.
And they own Franklin Juice in Franklin as well, and they were looking for a director of operations and wanted me to move home. And at this point, I've called Huntsville home.
Yeah.
I've raised my girls here. I love the city.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
so I said, I don't want to move back to Nashville, but if y'all want to do something down here, I'd love to be a part of it.
Okay.
So that conversation just sat there, and they kind of thought about it. Well, at the time, Wesley Crunkleton was doing the development downtown, and he was one of our regulars at the juice bar. So I'd kind of had gotten to know him a little bit. Okay. He was always in getting a juice, always very friendly, very professional. And he and Anusha had reached out to Honest to see if they would be interested, and they said no.
It just comes like almost full circle.
Oh, exactly. Well, they had said no. So in that lunch when I was up there, I asked them who had talked to him, and they told me it was Wesley. And I was like, if you guys want to have a meeting, I would love to do it.
Yeah.
So I met with him, a group of investors, our group out of Franklin, and in the one meeting we were all in.
Wow.
And so we looked at the site and decided we were going to do a combination of all the best things Honest Coffee had to offer. We were going to be a coffee shop, but we were going to also serve for their acai bowls.
Okay.
And so the acai bowls have been a huge hit in Huntsville.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm so glad that we did it that way. And so we opened in May of 2017 as a coffee shop that served acai.
Wow. Okay. That's it's crazy how those like conversations just from being in the industry that you were in like meeting so many people in the restaurant industry. I mean, I worked a little bit in restaurants too at a golf course actually. And the amount of people you meet and the connections you meet there, you don't necessarily think about it at the time, but then you come full circle where you run into them somewhere else. Like, oh, like what are you doing now? And like now you're doing all this. What did the coffee scene look like in Huntsville in 2017 at that time? So
Alchemy was over at Low Mill, and they were doing a phenomenal job. They were the craft coffee spot in town. Old Town had been here for a long time. They were doing a great job. I really, to my knowledge, and like I said, I wasn't in coffee at the time. Yeah. Hindsight was downtown. Daniel Stearns had a coffee truck, and he was great. He had been in the coffee industry for a long time and had a wonderful reputation. And then Shelby was doing some coffee downtown. So there was a desire for it. The citizens downtown, the people that work downtown, they always supported Hindsight. They supported Shelby. And I'm not sure why there wasn't
like a physical location.
Because we, like I said, we started at UG White, and we were up on the second floor. Yeah. We were hidden. The very first day we opened, people found us.
Wow.
And then the very first day we opened the doors across the street at the main shop, people found us.
Wow. Yeah, and like that's like what's kind of interesting now is because like from 2017 to now, there's so many coffee shops that have come. There's a lot of them have still stick around. There's been some that have left, but like to not see a physical location, but see so much interest in that, and seeing even Alchemy doing something really successful, not very far from downtown, but not something within downtown where there's people that work and live. And at the time, I guess 2017, I guess more and more people were coming downtown to like for entertainment. But I mean, in the last 5 years, it's just tripled. I mean, it probably even more than that because it's just the amount of like growth. As far as locations are concerned, I really think that your location on Clinton might honestly be the best location for any coffee shop in Huntsville now. But in 2017, that was definitely looked a little different. We kind of talked a little bit about that with the garage on Clinton being developed. Was there a tough pitch for you? I mean, like you said, everyone was in, but was the location a hindrance, or did you see just the opportunity there? So
we thought it was going to be about a 5-year project.
Okay.
I remember standing on the corner there at the Bottle in September of 16. And looking at it. I mean, So at that point, Roosevelt and Elaterre were open.
Okay.
And they were the only two businesses open in the project. And it was just quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, looking on the street corner, nobody's walking around. There's not any foot traffic. I would have never thought people from all over town would drive and get comfortable driving to a destination.
Yeah, 100%.
And so that first fall, I mean, like I said, we had a group of investors who had a long-term plan, and they were comfortable that it would probably take us 5 years to see return.
Oh, wow.
Well, we opened May 1. June 1, I went to the group and I said, if we don't expand, we're probably going to lose this business because the reputation already is you can't get in there.
Yeah.
So the suite next to us was open, and by that first fall, we did our expansion, which added probably an additional 50 seats.
Yeah.
And if we hadn't done that, I don't
and
think
even
we would have
now
thrived.
it's still. I mean, it's packed.
We've taken advantage of the city's been phenomenal with the sidewalks. I mean, we've got the most urban outdoor patio. I mean, it's lively. It doesn't matter. We're so fortunate with the way that corridor is. In the summer, it gets enough of a draft.
Yeah. Even
on the hottest days, it's not miserable. We probably lose 2 to 3 months in the winter outside seating. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible the growth we've had. We started doing online ordering, which I think helped a lot with the people that wanted to come in the shop, having a place to be, the people that needed to pick it up. That has definitely grown over the last, when that came about with COVID. I mean, we started doing that just out of necessity with COVID, and it's been something that has really worked well for us.
I mean, since you've been sort of in like the small business industry doing stuff before Honest, was your background in that and seeing the success that those things were having, like the juice bar, did you think that the success for Honest would be as quickly as it was? Or did you, in your head too, did you think it was 5 years in your head, or were you like, no, it's probably only gonna be a couple, like maybe 2 or 3?
I was pretty confident. I mean, I really believe the success of your business comes from your people. And a couple of the people that had helped me with the culture at Juice Bar came over to open Honest with me. So I had a good team starting. And then I had, like I said, the additional 5 people that started all were hungry and passionate for coffee. And so they had all lived in cities where there was a big coffee presence, and they just wanted to work in coffee.
Yeah.
And from the moment we opened the doors, there was just this energy. And so I didn't think right away it was going to be quite as busy as it was, but we've just been in a growth mode ever since we opened. We've I don't know if you, I mean, I'm sure you do know, but we added our breakfast and lunch menu early on just because at the time in 2017, there wasn't a presence. No. There's nowhere to get food. I mean,
no, definitely not.
I mean, we would go either to Humphreys or we would go over when Pints and Pixels was across the street. And that was really, and then that was lunch only. Yeah. You know, so we created our breakfast menu out of necessity. And then the same thing with our paninis. We were just thinking of a hot, quick option. Yeah. So we grew that. And, you know, now that's a huge part of our business is our food.
Yeah. And like, it seems so, like, now looking back, it's so easy to say, like, yes, this makes sense. Like, these things, obviously you have to have breakfast, you have to have lunch, you have to have this and that. The atmosphere has to be this. But in 2017, to not see there was people doing things like that, but there still wasn't nowhere near as much as there is now. And so there's no blueprint to say, like, hey, I've seen this person do it, let's do something like this. I guess for Honest, though, like having their location in Franklin, and that's the roaster, you were able to kind of build off of that and kind of create an experience similar potentially to what they do and make it something here.
Well, I think it's funny. If you've been to the factory in Franklin, it's a completely different feel. It's, I mean, the coffee's the same. Our coffee menu is very similar. They are very reserved. Okay. And it's, I'm just not. I'm very... humor is one of the biggest things and I'm very laid back, and so my team runs the shop as much as I do. And so our music's loud, our energy's high. It's not your traditional library coffee shop when you go and read. It's a very high energy, high volume. There's a lot of laughter. You know, I'd gotten to know a lot of the people in Southeast Huntsville running Juice Bar, because when you run a community business, it's the same people, and 100%. You get to know them, and you know, you're involved with other local businesses, or you donate with their charities. You just get to know. So I felt like I had a really good footprint in Southeast Huntsville. Plus my girls had grown up there. So, you know, I'd gone to school with a lot of the families. And so coming downtown, it was a whole different, I think that was the hardest thing for me to realize about the size of Huntsville. When Wesley used to talk to me about doing a juice bar downtown, I would always laugh, and I would say, I'm on Whitesburg. That is downtown.
Yeah, it's like, why would I want to go all the way to the square? There's just people that work down there.
It's like 5 red lights. It's the same, but it's a very different demographic.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
It's its own infrastructure. Yeah. And so being downtown, I met, you know, a ton of new people. And I think one of the neatest things about doing this business is you get to watch your community grow up. You know, you get to see kids that are now starting college that came to me before they started high school. And so that's been fun. I get to put other businesses together. If you came in and you're looking for a service or a business, chances are I've either had a conversation or have got to know somebody that does that.
Yeah.
And I've been able to connect a lot of people, which has been incredible. Like you and I were talking, when you love your job, it's not like having a job at all.
Definitely not. And like you mentioning at the beginning, especially with our off-air conversation about, never, you knew you were never able to work in a cubicle. And I think that's the one thing about Honest, in the sense that like people get so much work done there, but it has that, especially now with people transitioning to work from home. I mean, it's a fun environment to get work done. And it's crazy just how productive people can be in an atmosphere that is more engaging and more fun to be in.
I ask my regulars that all the time. I've got, a couple of people that come in there and they'll work for hours every day. And, like I said, we cut up, there's joking going on. Yeah. The music's, usually louder than it should be for a coffee shop. And they say it really just helps them focus, and they just enjoy it. And
it's one of those things that, like, getting them out of the house, especially in a time with COVID when people were struggling, like just wanted to get out and couldn't have it, they weren't able to, but now being able to, and being able to like be in an environment that's so upbeat. And like there's times, I guess, when you're working too, that like I will be there working, and then I'll just kind of like sit back and like turn off noise canceling and just like look around and see what's going on. And there's just so much, and like in the span of a few minutes from looking up again, there's new people, there's new things going on. And it's just a constant reminder of like, wow, like look how crazy Huntsville has grown, and all these people are coming from all over Huntsville to come here, which is just it's crazy. It's insane.
Crazy, and it blows us away. We're so thankful, and we just really try to stay ahead of like why people come to us. We try to really focus on our quality. We really pride ourselves on our customer service. If you look at our Google reviews, it's all about our customer service. Our people are having fun. We're friendly. We want to make coffee approachable. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when you go into a third wave coffee shop, you'll feel intimidated. You really don't know. If you don't know coffee well, and you know, it's hard to figure out what to order. So we really just try to make it approachable. So what do you like? What can I get you?
Yeah.
Try to get to know.
What do you drink at home? Mm-hmm. Like, do you like something more sweet?
Exactly.
Do you like your coffee black? Like, how do you like it? Now let's find something that fits that.
And we started doing our seasonal drinks with a lot more like sweet options. Mm-hmm. So people that are new to us, we can always just recommend, hey, this is a seasonal. Yeah. You can try this. It's got a little bit of sweetness, and that may be what they always drink, or they may progress down to, where they like a black coffee or an Americano or, a cortado, something very simple that's got coffee forward. But if not, they can come and enjoy something that they like as well.
Yeah. Do you think the educational side of the coffee has become less of a part of it just because more people in Huntsville are familiar with coffee, or do you still see that educational aspect being front and center?
I think being here for 5 years, I think, like you said, with the growth of all the other shops, I think there's so much more of a coffee presence and an awareness. We don't get as much of the first timers that are, looking at the menu starstruck and not really knowing what to get. I think a lot of the shops here have done a good job making it approachable and familiar. And I
think that there is that intimidating factor. I think even 3 years ago, I mean, when coffee shop, like I think Offbeat has been open 2 or 3 years now.
No, they've been open almost 4 now.
Almost 4 now? Wow.
I think it'll be 4, maybe 3.5.
Okay, because like I remember when they first opened, because I did a lot of stuff with them, and it's like you would see people come in very intimidated, and like over the last 3.5 years, even coming into Honest or coming into Offbeat or anywhere, like wherever you decide to go, I mean, the people don't feel like, they almost walk in already knowing what their original order is, and they're really just looking for what's new. It's like, I always get this, but let me see what the seasonal menu looks like.
And that's what we're seeing. And I think you're right. I think there is a lot more familiarity, and I think they've kind of gotten used to how we do. Offbeat does a lot of seasonals as well. So I think it's something, if you know what you like, get what you like. If you want to try something seasonal, get something fun and seasonal. And I think they recognize like how we operate and where to look for the specials.
Mm-hmm. So looking over this last 5 years of running Honest, what's something that you know now that you wish you would have known when you first started the business?
I wish I'd have known we were gonna. Wish I would have known we were gonna serve as much food as we do.
Yeah.
We have spent more time and money retrofitting it for the growth. I wish I would, like, so for the Madison's shop, I've been able to design it based on a growth mode, and we should be able to accommodate what we do in Huntsville and then some.
Wow.
Well, and so I wish I would have known that it was going to grow like it is, and I wish we would have built it that way to start with.
Yeah, and I a lot of those things, like, that is part of the fun entrepreneurial journey, is like the not knowing, but in some aspects you're like, man, it'd been really great if someone could have just hinted, been like, hey, by the way, if food's going to be a huge aspect, maybe you should put a little bit more, like have a bigger kitchen or have bigger like flow of people coming in to grab trays or whatever it might be.
If we
had no one's going to sit down and eat food and hang out for hours.
And they do.
Yeah.
And they do.
That's the big part of it.
Yes, it's huge. And I wish if I could have built us a kitchen, and if we ever grow any more, we'll make sure we have our kitchen will definitely be big enough to accommodate.
So now I want to talk a little bit about what the future looks like. As you're getting ready to open up your Madison location, how were you initially approached about opening a location in Madison? And is that something you always thought you were going to do?
So I was telling you I was a small partner when we started. I had the opportunity right before COVID, in August of 19, I had an opportunity to buy out our existing partners. And it was an opportunity I never thought I would have had. It's the biggest blessing of my life, and it's been, I can't even say enough good things about it. But I took over sole ownership in August of 19.
Okay.
COVID hits March of 20. And so it was a blessing for sure, because it was really nice being the only partner and not having to explain any of the decisions I made.
Yeah.
I was able just to operate as I thought was the best for my staff and our community and our business, and just be able to go with my gut and do it. And so we came through COVID. I was pretty cautious because this is my livelihood. The girls, both my daughters have worked with me, and my oldest now is in college. My youngest still works with me. So growth was scary to me.
Yeah.
Because it's my livelihood. And, if it...
Don't want to grow too quickly, but also want to grow quickly enough to sustain.
Correct. So we had been in a place in Huntsville where it looks like we're there. It looks like, we're going to be a sustainable business. I feel like our community is rooted in us. I think, I think we're together. And so when they approached me about Madison, I was very hesitant to start with, because it's a whole nother risk.
Yeah, it's a whole nother thing.
It's a whole nother risk. But the more I went and looked in that area, there was just a draw there.
Yeah.
I mean, Madison is the same way Huntsville is. It's
crazy.
Growing community. And in the past, Madison's kind of had the reputation for not supporting small businesses well. That a lot of the transplants are more comfortable with more chain restaurants and more things that are more familiar. And I don't believe that's a demographic. And so the more I got comfortable with that I believe that we could go in and get involved in the community and be a cool place to go for people in Madison to come and hang out. A lot of the people come to us, we get a lot of people from Madison that come over maybe once or twice a week.
Wow.
That I think will have a place to come daily if they want to.
And then share it with their friends in Madison. It says, like, before it was like, hey, I can't go all the way to Huntsville to go to Honest, but now it's like, hey, you want to go right down the street to go to Honest. And it's more people in Madison that like know of you and the brand, but didn't visit you on a regular basis.
And there's the aspect of going downtown, and with the construction and the traffic and the parking, there's you have to be intentional to get to
for sure.
And I think the thing about my Madison spot, it's just like wide open parking. I mean, it's a luxury that you have in a growing city that you don't have in retrofitting a old parking garage.
For sure.
And so I just think the demographic for Madison works.
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful. We're coming up on it. We're doing drywall now. It'd probably be mid-September.
Wow.
So what we're working on now is just getting staffed up and trained. The most important thing we do, I think, is the quality of our product and our customer service, and that takes a little bit of time to learn. Mm-hmm. So we're currently, and we have been kind of hiring and training. About half my team is going to go to open the Madison location. Wow. And then the other half will stay. And so we're trying to train all the new people to be able to fill in at both spots.
That like how looking at this build out process of that location with the material and labor shortages, was the expected open date September all along, or was the expected open date supposed to be sooner?
It was supposed to have been a little sooner, but it really wasn't. It wasn't anything too far out. We were thinking we would probably open a couple of months earlier.
Okay.
But like you said, everything's just more expensive than it was. So when our contract bids came in, we did kind of see where we could shift some. So really the only delays were just seeing what we could do to save a little money on the build out. From the time my contractors took over, they're phenomenal. They gave me a date, and we're gonna actually meet that. So it's very exciting.
Do you think the success for Madison location will be the similar success with the Huntsville in that first month? Just being,
I would love it if you could tell me that.
I don't know if I can hint. I will hint at it as much as I can, but I don't know if I can tell you for sure.
That's the question that I have been. the most anxious about, because it all depends on the staffing.
For sure.
If we open like Huntsville did and have a nice, slow, steady growth, we're in great shape staffing-wise. If we open as busy as we are in Huntsville, then, I'd really like to have some more strong people.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. I mean, I think we probably will open fairly busy because we do have a reputation, and, there's at least people know who we are now.
For sure.
When we opened Huntsville, and, like we said, at downtown, it was a destination. I think the community of Madison is all around where we are.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a destination.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of neighborhoods around us. We've got a lot of schools around us. And then we also have a name that people know now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hopeful. I mean, we're going to be ready for it. We're going to be staffed and ready. I'll be over there helping everybody out. But I'm hopeful that we open busy.
Do you think with your time being split between two locations, do you think the first 6 months of the Madison location you'll be primarily at Madison?
That's my plan. I've got, like I said, Caleb has been working alongside with me, my manager, for the last really year and a half since we started talking about doing something. And he has an assistant manager now, so they're ready. I mean, they're ready to run Huntsville. He's been with me for I think he just had his 4-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So he knows our culture. He knows our standard. He knows our customers. I'm very confident that they will take good care of the shop, that I can be over there to assist Marissa. And
then kind of moving forward, looking into 2023, you're kind of just going to be splitting your time between the two?
Well, the funny thing is, you don't know this, but we've also decided, because we're so excited about the Madison location, we're also opening a brand new ice cream concept.
Oh, wow.
Next door to Honest Coffee, we're going to do a concept called Chill.
Honest Coffee in Huntsville or in Madison? Okay,
in
wow.
In Madison. So I kind of fell in love with our location in Madison, and you were talking about entrepreneurial, and it just kind of hit me. I just had a gut feeling that we needed to do this new concept. And
is this a concept you've had for a while, or is this something you just saw the space and were like, what if we did this?
Mm-hmm. Just a conversation. We're kicking it around like this market is untapped. There's a community here that needs some cool concepts. I was like, I don't want to do smoothies again because I know the ups and downs of that business model. I was like, why don't we create something with the same draw, the hangout, the vibe, the fun, for kids or people who have date options that don't drink, or moms with toddlers, or any people group that don't have a place to congregate or hang out. Yeah. So we're doing an ice cream shop with about 45 seats, and so that'll probably have a lot of.
I think Madison will be your primary place you'll be at most of the time.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think 2023 I will be definitely scooping ice cream.
What is the time frame for that concept around this? Is it like before the end of the year going to be open?
Probably, yes.
Okay. So
so what we're hoping, I've got another strong employee who works with us now. She's going to go over, help train the Madison team, and then as soon as she gets basically her and a couple other people's replacements backfilled, they'll start working on getting everything ready for Chill.
Wow.
We've got the menu design, we've got the logo, we've got...
That's crazy.
So yes, we're right now we're almost a permit, so it could probably be early November.
Wow.
Which is the only saving grace, is opening maybe off season for ice cream. It'll give us a little time to work our kinks
staff and everything. Because I mean, like, is the idea when you, so I guess kind of with, I mean, this is like, I've just so much to talk about. With having two coffee shops and an ice cream shop opening up, is the idea that you're going to kind of have a brand around the three, and that if you hire people, you would kind of, they could potentially go to any of the three, or is it going to be solely independent of their own?
So, like I said, I'm very flexible and very low key. Right now in our interview process, anybody we're interviewing, hey, are you interested in working in Huntsville? Are you interested in working in Madison? My existing team, that's who we pick, the people that are going to Madison. Some it's location friendly, some work really well with Marissa. Some Marissa has said, hey, I think they work well on my team. Yeah. So we've kind of divided that way. And then my manager for Chill, she is a young lady with a huge amount of potential and is really just ready for a leadership role, which is kind of why I did it. We will grow as long as I have the people that need to grow. Okay. So I kind of base my growth model on having the team members in place that are ready for leadership.
Gotcha.
So a lot of that was just having her on staff. I was like, we can do it. If I have a leader, if I have a strong person, we can do this.
Why not?
And so she's already got 2 more key employees that are going to help her open, that are excited. It's going to be a very simple concept. We're going to do Ice cream scoops. We're going to do about 8 Bakes It milkshakes. And then our signature is going to be homemade ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
And so those are going to have the more of the flair to it.
Okay.
And then we'll do seasonal milkshakes and stuff like that. But it's mainly just a good place to get a sweet treat if you want it. And, we'll have Wi-Fi and just kind of a place to hang out.
So this is kind of a question about Honest as well as about, all the concepts. When you look at a concept, you talk a lot about the atmosphere that you create, the menu that you create, the staff, the all that. The customer service is a big part. Is that with the expansion of Honest and Madison and eventually the ice cream, is that your mindset going in is just creating a similar atmosphere from Huntsville to Madison, and then knowing what works with an atmosphere, what works with all that to open up the ice cream?
Yes. So basically, I look at it as quality product. We never sacrifice the quality of our product. We watch it. We have managers over every part of the shop that watch the quality of the food, the coffee, the customer service. We really take pride in the quality.
Yeah.
And so we watch the quality of our coffee, we watch the quality of our food, and we watch the quality of our customer service. And those 3 factors, if we can do those well, the atmosphere kind of prevents itself.
Yeah.
As you've been in Honest over the years, there's been lots of fun personalities that have come through there. I've been very fortunate to get people in different seasons of their lives, and I've been fortunate with the support from Huntsville that I've got the opportunity to create careers in this industry.
Yeah.
The restaurant industry can a lot of times be a tough place to make a career. Wages kind of hit a ceiling, and so my goal is to create a business model where people that like this industry, who don't want to work in a cubicle, who love coffee, who love customer service, who love the fast-paced atmosphere of it, have a way to make a career in it. Yeah. And so that's kind of where we are. Is as long as we can hit those 3 areas and do those well and have the infrastructure behind it, we'll continue to take looks at opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that that 3 piece of the trifecta almost, like you said, the atmosphere kind of built itself out, but also as you expand and as you grow, the atmosphere kind of has different lives and changes along the way. You've seen that with the Honest in downtown. You expanded because the atmosphere had to expand. And when the atmosphere expanded, you kind of created this more of a, hey, you're not in the main side, but you're in this other sort of section. Then the outdoor area grows. And this atmosphere is changing based on the needs that you see people have.
And, the flexibility, like I said, of our city. So the expansion, we still call it the expansion, even though it's been there for 5 years now. But the expansion side, definitely, if you come to Honest, you can go over there, and it's kind of quiet and secluded, and you can get a lot more work done. If you're on the main side, it's going to be loud.
Doors are opening all the time.
Doors are opening. The people are working. The bar's rocking. You're calling out names. People are moving and running drinks. So, like you said, that just evolved out of us needing a space. And because of the structure of the building, we couldn't open the whole wall.
Yeah.
It was a support wall that we could only open up as wide as those 2 doorways. So it actually made a quiet side and a more vivid side. And then as we've grown outside, I've just put more and more tables outside because people use them. And as long as we keep the ADA regulations and make sure it's a wide enough sidewalk to accommodate people walking through, and none of our customers seem to mind, and the city doesn't seem to mind, and so it just works really well.
That's awesome. You mentioned a little bit about just seeing as your staff's continuing to grow with you, and you've seen people that's worked with you for many years, and getting ready to that manager role with your ice cream parlor opening up, and with the new location of Honest in Madison. Do you think this is going to be something that at three concepts are going to be done, or do you continue to think? By the looks of it, you seem like if you see more people and more opportunities as far as team leaders ready to go up to a management role, and there's a need for a new concept it sounds like you're ready to open up. Like the sky's the limit. Is that true, or do you think
if I say it on this podcast, everybody that's close to me will kill me because they tell me I can't do anything else? But no, I'm always open to take a look at opportunities.
Okay.
I've got, one of my guys in Huntsville now, he's ready. He's ready for a shop if an opportunity presents itself. So, it's kind of if the area of town's right or the area of the region's right, I'll definitely take a look at it. I'm in no hurry to grow. I won't grow just for growth's sake.
And you're going 2 new concepts or another location, another concept in the span of 3 months apart. It's a lot of things to take on.
It is.
So maybe take a little bit of a break and then reassess stuff, but that's crazy.
I'm honestly hopeful that Chill does well enough and we could maybe bring it to downtown Huntsville.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's kind of something that's in the outside of my brain. And then I think I don't know. We'll see. We'll just kind of see as opportunities create themselves. I don't think I'll ever do full service restaurant again. I don't want to do anything with alcohol. It's just a whole nother headache. And, you know, I'm older, so I like the hours that we work. It's kind of nice to, by 8 o'clock at night, if there is anything happening, my phone's not ringing because we're closed. Yeah. So that's been nice. Now chill, we'll have a little bit later hours, but some of the nice things about this industry, you know, I just don't have to deal with some of the struggles that full service restaurants have.
Looking at this journey that you've had, did you always think you would own, like you've always been interested in small business, and you've been a part of stuff at different times, but did you always think you would own your own business and potentially own 3?
Never considered it. Never considered it at all. When the chain of events that came about in 19, that I was able to license with the roaster in Franklin, I had never even considered it. It blew my mind. It was the most generous proposition to be able to license with my roaster, who was my boss, and then the freedom to run it and make the decisions and do what I needed to for the business and serve a high quality coffee. And that was basically my obligation. It's beyond my wildest dreams.
Wow.
And it's been, you know, it's been life-changing. I mean, that's why, and I think I told you one of my passions is meeting with other small business people. I've been very fortunate that business just worked. Yeah. The first thing I learned at Juice Bar was financials and P&Ls, and it just made sense. Like I've always been a people person. I love the people aspect of it.
Yeah.
But when I started that, I was kind of thrown into the deep end on the financial end.
For sure.
And it just made sense. And so I've always been able to run a good P&L. Numbers make sense to me. I can make it work. And so I've had a lot of joy helping other people that are getting started with, like, here's some things that have worked for me.
Yeah.
And so that's been really rewarding and a lot of fun.
Because the Madison location, you'll be the owner and operator of that one as well. Fine. So pretty much every decision that's made there is your decision. Huntsville is your own decisions, and Chill is your own decision. They're all yours. That's I mean, that's crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Sometimes I think I've lost my mind, but like I said, I just feel very confident in the people that I've got working with me and the opportunities that we can all do this together and grow together.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as long as people want to work with me, and it's so neat. We had our 5-year birthday party just a couple weeks ago, and one of the guys that's with me now and one of the guys that was wonderful and with me for years, they planned it and put together like a reunion for the people anybody that ever worked there was invited.
Wow.
And it's incredible to me, the people that have worked for me multiple times, like have
worked this summer and then they left and then
gone
came
to
back.
school and come back, or you know, one of my guys went to seminary school and he wasn't sure if that was going to be the right fit for him, and he came back for a little while. And it's been really neat for people to come and go and kind of what season they're in. And I've had, like I said, a lot of people that have worked with me almost from the beginning.
Wow.
And it's just, the people are what it is.
Yeah. And I think building that community around you and the connections you made with with doing the Juice Bar stuff, and the connections you made there and the conversations you had with people, and then opening up the Huntsville location and creating this community. I think if you create a community around you, they'll push you really far. And they'll push you farther than you ever imagined. And I think that's exactly what's kind of happened.
Never thought I would be doing an original concept.
Yeah.
Never would have even, it didn't even cross my mind until all of a sudden it crossed my mind.
Yeah, you're like, this is, it was probably weird for you even to say it when the first, like, wait a second, like, this is something that's, like, there's nothing of this. This is there's zero background of this, and then I'm making this something. Like, that's, and it's insane. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's amazing to hear. Often being your own boss means you have to wear so many different hats. And we talk a little bit about it off air, but what is one hat that you wear now that you knew the least amount when you first started the business, and that you've had to develop this skill over the last 5 years?
Probably just managing the paperwork.
Yeah.
That has been the part that I have done more. And now my husband works with me now, and he's taken that over, which has been huge. But for a couple of years, doing more paperwork and bookwork than the people part. Yeah. And that was really hard because I love people. I mean, that's why I do what I do. The hugs, the pats, the conversations. And so being more in my computer than I ever thought. That was a challenge.
Yeah.
Because it had to be done, and once it was mine, then it's completely my responsibility. And if you don't have accurate financials, then you're not running a business.
Yeah.
You just have a business. And
yeah.
so that was probably the most unexpected part. What I started the business to do, and then what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
That was harder.
Like you almost started the business so you didn't have to deal with paperwork and have to be on your computer and do this. You have to see people, and then the one thing that you have to do more of than you even imagined now, being since 2019, I guess you've been having to do everything. It's everything's almost full circle. There's conversations you were having with Wesley at the juice bar, to then the conversations with Honest and Franklin, to then meeting with Wesley again to do the same concept, to then being like a soul. Like it's crazy how these things happen. How much of your success over the last 5 years running Honest Coffee in Huntsville would you contribute to being in the right place at the right time, and how much would you contribute to your hard work?
Well, I'm going to say the right place at the right time is huge, because Wesley, for one, I mean, I can't say enough good things about the way he develops properties and his vision. Yeah. He's very intentional with the projects he creates. They're very intentional with the types of concepts that they try to bring to Huntsville. So between, kind of his vision, and then, again, I can't say enough good things about DHI. I think Chad Emerson is the biggest gift the city has. I mean, the things that he has done to draw people downtown is the reason we have the businesses we have downtown, and every business owner down there knows it. Between the way he funded it with the government contractors to the events that they organized and put forward. I mean, we participate every year in the Downtown Open, the putt-putt thing. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's just a genius way to get people downtown. It doesn't cost the citizens anything, and it's very little financial on us. We're hosting the Women in Music Weekend, and I just think he does such a good job of, for small businesses, giving us ways to invest. Yeah. If we sponsor an act, but it's not a financial contribution that you could do on your own. Yeah. You couldn't host the whole weekend, but I can host an artist. For sure. And so things like that, I think a lot of it is the right place at the right time. And then I can't say enough about the people. I mean, I think I've been very, very fortunate with the people that have worked for me, and that they buy into my crazy system and believe in me, and, work hard alongside of me. If anyone's listening right now, how can people connect with Honest Coffee, connect with Chill potentially in the future, and support you in what you're doing and stay connected? So we've actually just redone our website. It's honesthsv.coffee. And then on social media, we're honesthsv. Okay. And then, like I said, we are actively looking for people that love to work in this industry, want to learn coffee, want to work in their communities. We're hiring for both locations. So Caleb at honesthsv.coffee is accepting applications. We'd love to have more people on our team. That's probably the biggest struggle we have right now. Okay. And we've been very fortunate. We haven't had to hire in about a year and a half. We've always either had somebody come in at the right time. So we're very fortunate that we're hiring due to growth and not due to need. So that's been really nice. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. I love learning more about your story and the story of opening Honest here in Huntsville and soon to be Madison. And I continue to look forward to the success we'll have in Huntsville and Madison and all over North Alabama, potentially, maybe, in the future. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.